Welcome to part 3. The thing with saber and conocer is that there are many cases where you could actually use either of them in the same sentence, and both choices would be grammatically correct, but the meaning of the sentence would change. So this is very similar to what we went through with ser and estar. So let's look at some specific examples of this in action. Here we have I know where you grew up. If I used saber here, in other words, sé for I know, then what I'm indicating is that I know this information about you, this fact, but I'm not indicating or saying that I've ever actually been there myself. I mean, I'm not familiar with, I'm not acquainted with the place, but I know this information about you, the name of the place where you grew up. If, on the other hand, I used conocer here, so in the first person that would be conozco, what I'm now saying is that I'm familiar with the place, meaning that I was there. I was there in person. So I hope you can see how both were grammatically correct to use, but the meaning changed. Because with saber, I'm saying that I know this piece of information about you, this fact, and that's it. Whereas with conozco, using conocer, I'm saying that I'm familiar with the place, meaning that I was there. I know what it's like there because I was actually there myself. Let's have a look at this one. I know how this works. Now, if I used saber here and said sé, then what I'm saying to you is that I'm an expert at this. I know it deeply in that it's my area of expertise. Okay, so using sé here means that, hey, I really understand this deeply. Okay, but if I used conozco, coming from conocer, what I'm saying was more in a general sense, I'm familiar with how it works. You can think of, say, someone driving a car. Okay, you're familiar with the basics of the car and how it goes, but by no means are you a mechanic where you could go underneath and explain all the different parts of the engine and take it apart and put it back together again. So you see here, saber is representing a deeper knowledge than conocer, because remember that conocer is to be acquainted with, to be familiar with, whereas saber represents a really kind of expert, deep level of knowledge about something. So here again, you have a choice between saber or conocer, depending on what it is that you want to express. Here's the next one. I know Julia Roberts. Now, if I used saber here, said sé, what I'm saying is that I know who she is, meaning I know that she's a famous film actress. I know this fact, all right? But if I went with conocer and said conozco for I know, then what I'm saying is that I'm acquainted with her personally, that I actually met her or that I know her personally. So again, saber is expressing that I know this fact or this information. Like, I know who Julia Roberts is. I know that she's a famous film actress, okay? I know that information. But if I switch over to conocer, now I'm saying or implying that I am personally acquainted with Julia Roberts, meaning that I met her or something like that. So again, you can see there's a very strong difference in meaning, even though both are grammatically correct. Here's one last interesting example for you. We have, I know my sister. Now, if you think about it, how well do most people know their immediate family? I think they know them pretty well. So in this instance, it would make much more sense to use sé for I know, even though this is a person and normally we say we are acquainted with people and use conocer. Because the intimacy or the level of knowledge about your sister is so much deeper, it makes more sense to use sé. So it would be sé mi hermana. I know my sister, meaning that I really know her inside and out, all her quirks and habits, her routines. I really know who she is. So this se is giving it that extra depth of understanding and implying that extra depth of knowledge. If on the other hand you said conozco a mi hermana, okay, so now what you're saying is I'm acquainted with my sister. Okay, so maybe you were separated at birth and you just recently met, it implies something like that. So it's good to be aware of these differences between saber and conocer, in that just the same as ser and estar or por and para, which one you choose will drastically change the meaning of the sentence.